Hello, and welcome to another episode of Snappy Copy Tips. I'm James Turner,
And I'm Leanna Patch.
and today we're going to be talking about jargon,
Mm.
or specialized terminology.
Yeah. And I think like my reaction to that word immediately just shows you what we all think about jargon. Like we don't want it because it sounds useless. It sounds like gross words that people use like synergy to make you think they're saying important things when they're actually saying nothing. But if we think of jargon more along the lines of those industry specific terms, they can be like dog whistles to your perfect reader, showing that person like, hey, we know what we're talking about because we're using the same terms that you actually use from day to day in your business. So there is a place for industry specific terminology. There is a place to make that connection. And how do you know where in your copy you should be working jargon in?
That is the question.
Yeah.
When is it too far? So what we tend to use when we're writing our copy is it's all research based, and basically it comes down to the stage of awareness that the person who's going to be reading the copy you're writing is at.
James, what
So,
is the stage of awareness?
oh, that was jargon. I did it.
I don't get it. I'm a stranger on LinkedIn watching these two dummies talk to each other over space and time, and I don't know what a stage of awareness is. Please explain.
Well, okay, so a perfect example I think about for us is if we use the word copy, then we can assume that the person that we're talking to, or we better have assumed that the person we're talking to knows that copy is a slang word for copywriting, and that copywriting is persuasive writing on your website or marketing assets. And I've certainly worked with people who didn't know that term. And so
Yes.
put out an advertisement saying, we do great copy.
It's like, what does that mean?
A whole slice of people who aren't aware enough yet of what copywriting is would not know what we were talking about. It might think we were like a photocopying company or something.
And in another example for the copywriting industry, we often get people who think that content and copy are the same thing, where we don't. We think copy is persuasive, sales-oriented writing, and content is meant more to inform and educate. We make that distinction. A lot of people don't. So they'll come to us and say, I need content. And we'll say, the
Yes.
stage of awareness seems low. Perhaps we need to educate you on what content is versus what copy is. So that the words that your readers use tip you off to where in their stages of awareness they are and what you might need to tell them. So again, it all starts with that research. You have to ask people, hey, what was going on in your life that brought you to consider working with us? One of our favorite questions, an oldie but a goodie. And then ask them, hey, what search terms did you use to find us? And I asked that question yesterday to a prospective client. They run a software application that helps small businesses plan their delivery routes. And these people are going on Google and searching route planning or route optimization. Sometimes they search route planning software. But when you get to the site, everything is pretty good. Like the copy on the homepage is very solid. They're getting a lot of trial signups, but through their user research, they've discovered that the copy on the homepage is actually using too many logistics-oriented industry terms. And let's see, I wanted to pull up a couple of those. It's so dark outside. It's literally noon and it's like nighttime. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're saying like, hey, we've got an API. They're small business owners who are their main customers don't care about API integration. They just want to get their goods where they're going. What are the other industry terms that they're using? There's a lot of the word optimize, which sometimes people are searching for, but they might not know what it is to plan a route versus optimizing a route. They say we minimize windshield time. If I'm just getting into delivery with one vehicle, maybe two vehicles, I might not know what windshield time is. So these are all small tweaks that they're making with their homepage copy that's going to make it convert even better into free trial signups. And it starts with looking at where jargon makes sense.
I do not know what windshield time means.
I don't either. Windshield time is maybe when they're like sitting waiting.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I think that this comes down to why it's so important to determine specifically who your ideal reader is, so you can talk to some of them and find out how they talk about their problems and what they want to have achieved.
Yeah. And sometimes that positioning and that messaging grows as your business grows. So I know that there have been, a bunch of companies. FOMO comes to mind. FOMO is the app that pops up a little thing in the lower right of an e-commerce website that's like, hey, Cassandra in Virginia just bought this, dog toy.
Right.
When they started, I think it was them, if I'm not mistaken, when they started, they had to do a lot of educating, especially in their homepage copy, about what this was and why you might want to use it. And now they've grown so much. Their competitors have expanded. This is a commonly used tool across stores now, so they can be much more specific with their messaging and the words they choose, because they don't have to educate people from the ground up anymore.
Totally. I was thinking even just the word FOMO. People.
Yeah, like what is FOMO?
Right? FOMO and tofu.
Tofu. I still have that shirt. I have a shirt with marketing acronyms. Thanks, Unbounce. That says tofu, NS, whatever. Is an acronym for never start a marketing campaign without a dedicated landing page. So people will look at my shirt and think like, oh, it's a health food shirt. And then they'll be like, Nisrable? And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yes.
Don't fret. Yeah. So, this is why when you submit a Snap project brief, we ask you about the context of the copy that we'll be either writing or optimizing for you, because we want to know, where are people coming from? How much do they know already? So that we can better get them to the goal. And we know like how much industry terminology should we use? How much of the problem should we explain? And that gets into a whole bigger, that stage of awareness thing we could have made a whole video about. And maybe we will. You don't know. You don't know what we're going to do week to week. We surprise ourselves every day. Anyway. Standing alone in the dark, yelling at my computer. This is why we ask you for this data. And if you want to start gathering this data, this voice of customer research from your customers, we have a handy kit for you, and we will attach the link so that you can download this template. Ooh, you hear the thunder?
I liked it.
Outside. Okay. Yeah. We made you a thing. This is another thing we made you. Go get the things and do good stuff.